Hello, and welcome back to Borrow Some Besties. I'm Heather. I'm going to be your host today. Um, just as a reminder, this is not meant to be clinical advice or education of any kind. This is for educational purposes only. So while I am a therapist as part of my day job, I am not your therapist as part of my day job, and I cannot provide any treatment, clinical advice, anything like that, especially not over a podcast. So, welcome to Borrow Some Besties, which is a podcast where you can um, act along with an activity that we are doing. So, hopefully, it's something that's free, cheap, easily accessible, and will reduce loneliness. This is designed for people who sorry, my space heater was getting a little warm. This is designed for people who want to feel that social interaction, but not necessarily interact. So, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I had planned on doing diamond art. So, I'm not sure how much these kits run. Our neighbor actually gave this to me for me to do. And there's a little bit. One of my kiddos had started it. So you'll notice that a little bit of it is done. Um, and I also had priced some of these on like Amazon and it was around $5. So hopefully this is something that is accessible to you. If you don't feel like doing diamond art, because honestly, this was the first time I had ever done it. And really, that was just asking my kids to show me how to do it. So that way it didn't look ridiculous. Um, yeah, you can pick a different activity if you don't want to do diamond art. We're just going to be doing art together. So, there is a little plastic sheet over this, which it wasn't this hard to get off before, which makes me wonder if I've ruined it. I hope not, but we'll find out. Oh my gosh, so much plastic. It was so sticky. Oh, yeah, there's not a whole lot of stick left on there. So maybe I'll end up having to go and get my other diamond art that I did order from Amazon for like $5 because I really wanted to try some sort of art activity with you guys. So I am okay. How you do diamond art, apparently, is you take the little pen and you squish it into, I'm assuming this comes with all of them, but a little, like this is a wax square. And then, so I have the wax in the bottom of my pen. And then I'm going to go over here to this little thing that has all of the diamond art beads. So as you can see, I picked it up and it is just sticking right there because of that wax. And then this is kind of a paint by numbers sort of thing. So all of the places where it says number 1, there's like a little circle with numbers on it. I am going to take my diamond art pieces and put those over the numbers. And I would assume if it stops being sticky, I would need to, I don't know, get more wax if I can't pick up more diamonds with it. Um, so this is somewhat mesmerizing. So one of the things that I tend to find with every art activity that I do is um, at some point it just kind of goes off the rails. And I'm like, oh, I want to be creative with this. And then I go off the rails with it. Um, and you end up not making anything that anyone would want to look at. When I was in high school, I had a whole lot of friends who were super ridiculously talented with art. Like they could dream it in their heads and then put it out on paper or, I don't know, poster or a chalkboard, painting, canvas, all of that. Sidewalk chalk. Like I grew up with a lot of very, very talented people, musicians, artists, athletes. I mean, definitely pretty cool. And I am creative, but in different ways. And that has taken me a really long time to figure out that the ways that I am creative, while they do not match other people, they are still appreciated and valuable. Starting to have trouble picking up some of my beads. Anyway, we would listen to Bye Bye Miss American Pie every single art class, and everybody would sing along, and I would watch the coolest, most beautiful creations ever being made. Now, one thing that I think is pretty funny now, when I was in art class, my mom was a teacher. I don't know if I have shared that yet. My mom was a teacher. That was her career. And she taught at lots of schools. She subbed for a while. She was a special ed teacher. And because of where I grew up and the need for teachers and all of that, my mom was very well connected with lots of schools in neighboring towns. It's okay. That was an accident, but it'll be fine. So my mom was well connected with all of these educators. And believe it or not, my art teacher was not as appreciative of my art talents as others would be. Say anyone else, really. And I failed art. And she and my mom were pretty good teachers. They were pretty good friends. So she did my mom a solid and let me work at the school over the summer in order to wash all of the paintbrushes and make sure that all of them were clean and her classroom was set up and all of that before the next year came around. And so I spent my whole summer doing that. Okay, it wasn't my whole summer. It was like 2 months, right? And that was back when summers were like from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Um, and she brought my grade up enough to pass me. I thought that was a pretty solid thing for her to do. Um, I don't know why that part of my brain, I can't seem to get the things exactly like I'm seeing them in my head to how I am executing them or putting them out onto some sort of medium. I am fairly musical. I do like to sing, although my choir teacher at one point told me that I sounded like a dying elephant. Yes, that is correct. Um, but I am fairly musical with instruments, not piano. Interesting story. When I was a kid, I thought piano was fun. I would practice after school, and then I would go to my piano teacher, who actually was just like the music teacher at the school. And she offered this as just extra income. She offered piano lessons. And at one point in time, my hands are really tiny. You don't know that, but I have very tiny hands and very tiny wrists. And so my reach on a piano is not really very much. And so when I would play, she would be like, "Oh, honey, you need to be practicing." I'm like, "But piano teacher, I am practicing. I'm going and doing this instead of playing outside after school. Like, I'm dedicated." And she said, "Maybe it would be better for both of us if you just stopped coming." So, piano also is not something I'm talented in. I was gonna say, by the end of this, you guys are gonna be like, "How do you do anything at all? Is your self-esteem just terrible?" No, my self-esteem is very good and healthy. Um, but I did. I had some dicks as adults around me growing up. Hmm. These may not work on the areas where all the sticky went away. What art activity are you doing? And how did you decide? If you feel like weighing in, please put something in the comments. I'm still learning how to do all of this. So hopefully I will see it and be able to respond. So here's what I've got so far. I finished around here, and now we're getting into the area where some of the sticky was taken. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get much there. But I am going to keep going. I also used to be really good at crocheting. And by that, I mean I can crochet you the world's longest friendship bracelet, but I cannot do anything that takes more than more than one thing. Like if you have the strand that goes straight across, I can do that. I'll do that all day long. But if I have to like swing it back around to do a second connected to it, project is over. It's gonna end up wadded up into a ball and thrown into a wheat field somewhere. Come on, is there any adhesive left? Yes, a little bit. Do you remember when you were like in school and you used to just lay your head and write or whatever? I feel like that's what I'm doing for a long essay here. Any questions, comments, concerns on your end? How's your project coming along? Ooh, at my first kind of big kid grown up job, I did have a lot of coworkers who were super into scrapbooking. And we would do, I think we only did it like a couple of times, like a scrapbooking night. And we were sharing supplies and like scissors and fun things, scrapbook related. And I have mentioned this a few times, but I am a fairly frugal person. I don't really spend a whole lot of extra stuff, which is why it's very important to me that this is free or affordable. Because I can remember when I lived on my own, I hit a season where the loneliness was almost unbearable. It was really, really hard. And I couldn't afford to do anything. I was working a job that, I'm talking to people that I work with and applying for assistance, and they're actually making more money than I am. Or, like, yeah, it was just bad. I would rent movies from our apartment movie library thing because I couldn't afford to drive the gas to go to the library and swap them out. I just remember sitting in my living room one day just being so lonely. So moving back to scrapbooking night, it was a blast. I brought like the 99-cent construction paper sheet set that you can get at like Walmart. It probably was. Um, because I couldn't afford anything else. We had a good time, but it was very clear to me that I was in over my head. These ladies knew what they were doing. And I was like, let me cut this picture out. You mean I'm allowed to make it look different? I feel like this whole like adhesive only being on part of it makes me think of Bob Ross with Happy Little Trees. These are happy little areas with no adhesive. Happy little areas with no adhesive. So what I do on the diamond art is I just push in a little bit when it's on there or in the adhesive so that way I can take my wax cover thing and it will fall off of it. So I think I got all of the adhesive for the blue things, right? I mean, I really kind of tore it off. So, okay. All of my blue gems are done. I am actually going to take my little, I don't even know what it's called, little dish. This one is special to me. It says, "You make the world a better place just by being in it," which that to me has always been something that I have strived for. Felt like that was my purpose. And if somebody said, "My life was better because you were in it," that to me is winning. That's what it means to win. Although that's also probably like a middle school maturity plot, maybe, right? Like, oh, I can't have a fulfilling life unless other people recognize it too. Like, sure. Emptying out the next colors and spilling them. That's fine. I'm also sitting on a yoga ball, so I feel like all of the moves that I'm making are huge and exaggerated. So, I hope you are making progress on your project. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. So if you feel like sharing with me what's going on in your world, I would love to hear it. All of your life's joys in this most recent season for you. Wow, that sounded like maybe it broke a little bit, but it didn't, I promise. Okay, so here's where I'm at so far. If you look, that yellow is really, really pretty by it. And again, I pulled off a lot of the adhesive. So it's definitely not going to turn out the way I want it to, but that's okay. What is this? Beautiful little trees, happy trees. Because I still think this is beautiful. And I like how the light is catching it. Okay, friends. My alarm clock just went off. That is my way of making sure that I stay on time and get where I'm supposed to get at the time I'm supposed to get there, or at least relatively close to. So, what I am going to be doing is I am going to stop here. I'm not going to put the plastic cover back on. That was not a good idea. I don't recommend doing that. But I'm going to do what I can and then go ahead and finish up my project. Thank you for joining me today for doing arts and crafts. And I hope that you had a great time and that this did help to alleviate any loneliness or disconnect that you might be feeling. So thank you for joining me, not us, but thank you for joining Borrows and Besties today. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.